Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Artark, and today we are doing a viewer request, so to speak. Mountain Lake Card Gaming said, have you tried Super Mech Wukong reroll? They did a round of Can You Force It and got 3.4. Before we get into it, graphic, like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill, lives on the weekend, although as soon as the new set goes live on the PBE, I'm going to go live with that. Don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but when it does, look for the notification. And with that said, let's get started. So I tried this several times, and yeah, it does work, and you can see I was forcing it here by the synchronized Wukongs at the end of the fight, but let's go to our first augment, Thrill of the Hunt. Easy take for me anytime I can get that kind of burst healing. Now your goal here is obviously going to be mechs and supers, so Malphite fits right in. You're going to want to get it to hopefully 3-star Wukong and then the rest of your mechs. Now, one thing I found pretty interesting, in every single attempt that I made at this, I was able to pretty easily get a gold 3-star Wukong, so it does not seem that this is that competitive a build to deal with. I did often find it was a slow start, since you don't necessarily have powerful champions that are going to start you off, or really good synergies that will start you off, like an Infiniteam. Key items for Wukong are Titan's Resolve, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Bloodthirster. Titan's Resolve because he'll get bigger and bigger and stronger throughout the fight, especially after he's a Super Mech. Bloodthirster will give him a key shield, and Jeweled Gauntlet will allow his spell to crit, so it can do a lot of extra damage. What I also found key in my trying this is you're going to need to itemize Draven, and some good items there are Last Whisper and Rageblade, so you're going to want to pick up a lot of bows so you can get items onto Draven as well. As I toyed with this, I tried different variations in where I had Draven absorb into Wukong and then try to just keep Wukong as the big center carry in the middle of it all. But it seemed to need that ace to do cleanup from the outside for it to really break through. It's time for the second set of augments, and normally I don't like going for Super Soul. However, in this case, I was having so much trouble getting Gangplank. He was still at 1 star at 5.2. I decided to go ahead and go for it. It also makes me regret having already created the first Titan's Resolve for Wukong, because he doesn't necessarily need 2, but now I can dump Gangplank and bring in Riven so I can create Defenders and Brawlers along with Lee Sin and Wukong. Now, if I can create a Rageblade on Draven, I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's really key because the faster he attacks, the more likely he is to execute, since he'll execute anything under 15%, and that is going to help you a bunch. As you will see right here, it is the attack speed that allows him to do enough damage to clean up that fight and win. Now, I want to show you something really weird and funky that happened in this match. I've now picked up a Jax, so I can now create a Super Mech if I want. I go ahead and decide to put the Jax in. That's going to now give me the symbol I can put on Wukong. Now, in my brain, I thought it was going to be Garen who got sucked in. I wasn't even paying attention to the lines. I had to go back and look at this for a reason you'll see after this next fight. I thought Garen and Jax were going to be absorbed and Draven was going to be on the screen. I then go to try to put items on Draven, but he disappeared because he was absorbed in, and I'm thinking, how did I miss that? I guess, okay, I wasn't paying attention, my spacing was off. I was pretty sure that Garen was closer to Wukong than Draven was, but obviously I made a mistake. Okay, I can fix it in the next round. So let's jump forward to when it comes back. Notice where the lines are now. Garen, Wukong, Jax. No line now pointing to Draven. I changed nothing, but it changed for me. Now, I'm still a little bit confused as to exactly all of that happened, but I guess that's just the coding can sometimes do that, and I should have paid more attention the first time. This particular round, we get completely leveled by an Anima Squad team. Now, one nice thing with this comp is it leaves a little extra room for additional champions, so when I get the 4-cost augments, and I don't want to go with the Garen one, I can look and see if it can give me something really cool like impact velocity, which is going to allow Aurelion Sol to stun people every time they get hit with a comet from above. So originally I had brought in Echo just to shore up the front line, but now I can give a Spear of Sojin to Aurelion Sol so we can do lots and lots of stunning. Now I was really torn with items here because I could grab the Needlessly Large Rod and put a Jeweled Gauntlet on Aurelion Sol, but I'm thinking of also doing a Quicksilver on Draven. I then decide to pick up the Negatron Cloak to possibly make a Dragon's Claw on one of our frontliners, but once this match is started, I'd rather not try to put anything on for fear of putting them on the wrong champion, but you can see the stun from Aurelion Sol worked out perfectly. As for the items, here's how I decided to distribute. Let's get a Zephyr onto the front line so we can take a frontliner off the board for a moment. Give Lee Sin the Thieves' Gloves, and then give the Quicksilver over to Draven, and we're good to go. And pretty much every time I've played this comp, I found that there was a power spike at 7. That was once you were able to turn Wukong into the Super Mech, still have a decent front line along, and a backline that can do real damage. And as mentioned, you get a lot of extra room in this build, so you can fill in with additional threats. I decided to put an Aatrox on the front line, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Protector's Vow. I'd rather have had an additional Aurelion Sol item, but any chance to pump up the front line will help since you're losing 2 frontliners to create the Super Mech. We're now on a mad dash look for Leona, but she sometimes can be really hard to find. And of course, say hello to an Animaniacs team that has got the 7 Anima squad. I think they're just missing the Gnar at this point, but they've got their Echo, Misfortune, a really well itemized Jinx, although not necessarily perfect, but as you can see, it's going to be enough to just finish off Draven and put us in a one more loss and we're out situation. Now we 2-starred the Aurelion Sol. We are 1 away from a gold 3-star Draven, and we have a 3-star Malphite, and of course 3-star Wukong. So we are getting currently 6% bonus damage on top of the 18. So we're doing a lot of damage, and that allows us to be dragged into the top 4. It's time for our final 2 item choices, and the Archangel Staff is an easy pick for Aurelion Sol. We're now sort of on a mad dash for Leona, but again, as I've said, she's hard to find. Fiddlesticks will make a good replacement because Fiddle can help distract teams. We get our gold 3-star Draven, so we now have 3 gold 3-star champions. That is giving us a really nice boost damage-wise. Remember, these impacts stun, so 2 Spear of Sojins, not bad for Aurelion Sol. And while I would love to have Leona be part of this build and could easily sub out Aatrox for her with those items, they'd be perfect. This is working pretty well. You can see the stuns are coming frequently from Aurelion Sol, and that's enough for Draven to be able to execute critical champions that could otherwise wreck our team. And we are going to be facing off against the Animaniacs style team. Again, not all the pranksters, but what I want to do is separate out my key champions in the back. I don't want either of them getting caught in a Misfortune ult or even in a Jinx ult, because this way she can only stun one of them, not both of them. And the key to the fight is being able to essentially divide and conquer. Ultimately, they will hope to trigger Fiddle, and then Fiddle can distract them. They have Chrono Break, but it didn't quite seem to work right. I don't know why the glitch was happening there, but it felt like my champions were attacking the entire time. We end up winning this fight. The other team goes down as well, leaving us as the victor, and GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Try this build out in this last couple of weeks. I think you'll have an easy time of it. And as always, have an absolutely awesome day.